This is the new Nintendo Switch 2, and today let's go over the things that I really love about the new Nintendo Switch. If throughout this video you find something that I missed that you love about the new Nintendo Switch 2, let me know in the comment section down below. I would really love to hear from you what you like about it. The first thing is the new display. It is a LCD, but it is up to 120Hz and is a full HD screen. Just makes it such a nice screen to use because it's a sharper display, bigger. I really like that it's bigger. We are at a point where handhelds are no longer handheld gaming devices, or actually the pocket devices that we had back in the day, much more like a handheld gaming station. So it's like much bigger now. It's not as pocketable, but I really like it. I really like that we have a bigger screen. It just makes it better for immersion. You can really immerse yourself in the games, and the hardware can actually support that full HD, making this a really nice sharp display, and it just feels really good coming from the original Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch OLED. Just much more sharp, and the possibility of up to 120Hz is a really cool thing for this device. Same thing can be said about the new Joy-Cons. They're just much bigger, much more ergonomic, just work better, fit better in hand because of their size. The new design with the click is just so satisfying. Overall, I can really say that the new Joy-Cons are better. Well, they are not revolution. They're not something that is magically 100 times more comfortable, but they are more comfortable thanks to their bigger size. Just the ergonomics, the way they're made, just feel a little bit better in hand. Just, while it's not perfect by any means, the size of them makes them a little bit better. You're no longer squished into them. Just makes it more comfortable and ergonomic. Another thing that I really love about the Nintendo Switch 2 is the docked experience. For example, I really quickly fell out of love with Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch OLED when docked because it just didn't run too good. If especially you played games on a big 4K TV, you would really feel that quality being really low. It's pretty much playing games at like 500p on a 4K display. It was just a horrible experience in my opinion. But now being able to play things like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart World, and other games at 4K 60 frames per second, even if they're upsampled to 4K, it's still an incredible experience. Playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in 4K 60 frames per second on a big screen just feels so good. Something that I really wish I could do on the original Switch, and I feel like it was meant to be played. So this is a great handheld, but also great docked experience with its capabilities of up to 4K, 60 frames per second for many games, makes this an incredible docked experience, and I really love it. Especially if you connect it with the new Pro Controller, it is just a really fun to use docked experience, and just how quickly you just put it into dock works, everything is automatically set up, is amazing. And like I said, the performance boost of the Nintendo Switch 2 is amazing. Another thing that I really like about the Nintendo Switch 2 is the third-party support. I know we are just starting with the new console, but we already have games like the Cyberpunk 2077, which is a really nice big game, and being that the Nintendo Switch 2 has a closed ecosystem, so we have to counting on the third-party IPs and the first-party IPs, so all the developers to make specifically for this console, meaning that we're pretty much at the mercy of who makes what available on this. But with the Cyberpunk and with all the other games that are already announced for the Nintendo Switch 2, really makes me excited for the third-party games made and optimized for the Nintendo Switch 2. With much better hardware than the Nintendo Switch 1, makes it a really cool device, and seeing how good the Cyberpunk runs on the Switch 2 makes me really excited to see how the third-party support continues with the Nintendo Switch 2. Especially knowing that we can now have better frame rates and better visuals. And by the way, speaking of games, if you want to save up a little bit of money on games and subscriptions, check out Instant Gaming. This is the place where I got my Nintendo Switch Online subscription from, but you can also get the upgrade packs for Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and Breath of the Wild. Not only that, many of the games that I have for my Steam Deck OLED have been bought from Instant Gaming. You can find great deals on games that are literally just $1 or $2. Not only that, together with Instant Gaming, we're doing a giveaway where one of you can win a game of your choice. If you're interested in this month's giveaway, check out the link down below. Another thing that I just love about the Nintendo Switch 2 is the simplicity. It is super easy to set up, everything just works, no matter if you're using it as a handheld, if you're using it on a big screen TV with a dock, everything is just made so simplistic. Even logging in, downloading everything is made like a typical console experience. Everything is super fast, reliable, no fiddling around, controllers just connect, everything works. You want to connect the bigger Pro Controller, just works. If you want to put it into the dock, it just works. Everything is just instant, there is no friction, there is no setting anything up, which I love about the Nintendo Switch 2. It's simple, but it works. And the same thing can be said about things like the sleep function, where I can just put in sleep and then later come back to the game and continue where I left off. Something that the handheld PCs really struggle with, especially the Windows-based PCs, making this just a super fun, super easy to pick up and play device. And last but not least is the first-party IPs, so like the Mario Kart World, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and one of the newest games, the Donkey Kong Bonanza. Essentially, there's plenty of first-party games. Well, there might be not for everyone. I feel like they're really made for general consumers, so it's really easy to just pick them up and play. I feel like most gamers can pick them up and play and have a good time with them. Thanks to this, we have plenty of games that are really good for the Nintendo Switch 2, and with the free and paid upgrades for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, and Mario Kart Odyssey, as well as having new Mario Kart World, future Kirby Forgotten Land upgrade, and new games like Donkey Kong Bonanza. We have plenty of really good first-party IP games at a nice frame rate, nice resolution for the Nintendo Switch 2. And these are available only on the Nintendo Switch 2, making this a real console seller. If you want to play those games, you have to get them for the Nintendo Switch 2, making this a really cool experience, and they're really made to be optimized for this device. So, especially if you didn't play the older games from the Nintendo Switch 1 and the Switch OLED, you're gonna have a lot of really good games for the Nintendo Switch 2, like Zelda Breath of the Wild and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, for example, which just run amazing on the new device, and even on the dock experience was amazing for this. So if you missed any of those games, they run amazing on it. For those that already played on it, well, we still have new games and new upgrades. So for example, we have the new Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I'm sure new games are on the horizon. But it's really cool, they're really unique and really fun to play. So there's a lot of cool things for the Nintendo Switch 2 that are specifically exclusively for the Nintendo Switch 2. If I missed something or you have any more questions about the Nintendo Switch 2, let me know in the comment section down below. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video once again, and I'll see you next time.